Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, Reading Yogi. You're like so far the first one and the only one here. Let me play some music and grab a coffee, and I'll see everybody in just a few minutes. Safi, where are you going? You can stay. You can stay. You can stay. Good morning. Is everybody there? Safi is leaving just at the right time. Let me switch the screen. I think we are moving on. And Barbie's here. Good morning. Of course, Knitting Yogi was first. Chris is here. Crystal is here. Lynn. Hey, there are 5 of us. I hope a few more will come to join us. And what is it today? Is it the last of Scorpio or is it the first of Sagittarius? In any case, I'm going to read 2 of them first, and that is going to be very important. Hi, Lynn, love the music. Thank you. It's kind of like very something nice and gentle for us to start the morning, because most of us are in the morning, and then some people are in the middle of the night when Kylie joins in. It's just like somewhere there. Look at the Finland is in the afternoon, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we are starting with Scorpio, and I have these cards. Sorry, is anybody else aside from me loving this kind of stuff? These inhalers clean my kind of like nose so well. Also, a note that a friend of mine has an emergency, and so far she didn't really want to go to the hospital, but she said she's going to knock on my door if it's really, really bad. So if I hear a knock, I have to stop right then and there. And my apologies, but you know, doctors come first, right? So let me find a little thing for Scorpio, and the next one will be Sagittarius. So we can start, my beautiful people. Hello, Helly. Hello, Sherry. Hello, Ranta. My gosh, it's Finland warm. Like, we had such a nice and warm and springish day, and today we are kind of like back to winter is coming kind of a thing. So it's interesting. So Scorpio. Let's see, should I lift this a little bit? Go. Scorpio, what's going on your exit? Did anybody guys did a new moon meditation? I really wanted to send it out to everybody, but honestly I was like so immersed in this new moon meditation. I did it for 3 days in a row, and then I said, okay, it's too late, and it sucks to be me not to send you this newsletter, but anyhow, like, new moon in Scorpio meditation can be used at any time as well, but I really needed certain things to transform in my life. So you're getting finally something, and you're getting a Three of Wands. It is reversed, so it almost looks like you are not following a beaten path. You're kind of like trying to either steer off or something doesn't make sense. And there we go. I'm just about to say you're getting nothing, and then you're getting everything. And everything is reversed. Why is that? They're not actually reversed in a deck, so I don't know what's going on. It's just like the way it is. So Nadine Young is warmish 50F. I don't know how much is 50, to be honest. 50 minus 32, 12, 6. Yeah, I think probably would be 40-ish or something, 45 in Toronto right now. Yesterday was much warmer. So guys, what do you have? Scorpio, you have Three of Wands reversed. It's Eight of Wands reversed. It's Nine of Cups reversed. All of these are good cards even when they're reversed. They kind of like just indicate delays and thinking through it and wondering what's going on, and then everything is happening so slow. Like, that's why you have like all these pentacles in the end. And the pentacles are Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles. So maybe you do have a couple of people who are specifically creating your life very difficult at this stage, right? So it could be this Knight and a Queen. So that means they could be married, or they might not be married. So if they are married, she is the one who is running the show, but she's putting this person forward, right? And if they are not married, he is a little bit more aggressive between the two of them, even though you might not realize that. So this could be some kind of like financial demand. That could be something that somebody just like wants what is quote unquote rightfully theirs, that kind of stuff. Somebody just like not happy with some kind of accomplishment, Scorpios, right? So it is really interesting. When I add it, it adds to 20. And when I looked at the deck, right, like what is over here, I had 20 cards sitting there, which is representing Scorpio, and this is reversed. It means there's like some kind of like payoff of some sort, but in a negative way. So Judgment card is always actually good, whether it's up or down, except we don't like when we are getting the, like when you're on the receiving end, the short stick, right? We don't like when we have to balance the scale in order to kind of like move this karma forward. But nonetheless, this is kind of like what is happening, and then it's over. Kind of like, okay, just finish your freaking homework, you're done. And Scorpio is a little bit more spiritual, so that really shouldn't be, I don't know, a big deal if you really think about it, right? So you kind of like need to think about it. So there is clearly something you're abandoning. You might be abandoning a love affair. Maybe it was some kind of like flare and spark and something going on, but you were like really interested initially, and usually Scorpio goes to no matter what depths are, Mariana Trench depths, right? But you were like, it is just too much effort. Isn't this kind of like really pandemic? The dating in pandemic times, it's kind of like people don't go too much too deep because it takes so much more to date. Well, I should tell you how it was dating in Croatia. Like, I mean, where you would, at the end of the date, because most of us didn't even have phones, so you had to, at the end of the date, decide when and where you're going to meet next. So how is that? And that was like in 3, 4, 7 days in advance, and you would still remember. So honestly, I felt almost like it was better because it left you something to think of. It left you to long something. And then you got a phone, then we started having this first neurosis. Oh, did he call? Did she call? These expectations were there. It was just like freaking creepy. And now texting all the time, etc., it's kind of like weird. But Scorpio, you like to explore all of these avenues because you are pretty much the king and the queen of sex, and sex is sort of like almost like the doorway to dating, to intimacy, to actually what is really happening. Hello, Kylie. Good to see you. Nice to see you. So, guys, I don't think that there is much over here happening this week. It's going to be a little bit of stagnation. If anything, you're going to feel that something is holding you back. That something or somebody could be you. You may be holding yourself back. Maybe you're going to feel after all these birthday kind of celebrations, I just need to rest a little bit. It has been a long road and just like a let me stop and smell the roses kind of a thing, right? So remember, judgment means reverse, that you might be hearing some bad news. But these bad news will turn into good news because the slate is like wiped out clean. So nothing really to worry. You might get in some kind of conflict with some people who will try to saddle you with their will, or you will very disagree with how they are handling things. So just keep this in mind as well. Okay, so what I need here, did I not do the gypsy cards? I did Vera Sibilla last time for some when I really wanted to get some additional things. So let's do it here. Let's do it here. And you having a faithfulness, you have this loyalty over here. So first thought that came to my mind is like that you have to be really loyal to yourself, right? And this is like a positive card. It really talks about counting on support of friends. Just don't jump the gun and demand that things are done on your terms. Maybe somebody didn't do something you have asked them to. Maybe something is still ongoing. It's going to happen. This is kind of like what it's telling. It's kind of good omen. This is kind of about positive results, just like the judgment card, which was reversed, right? So this can talk about you, that you can trust and that help from others will come through, right? It is kind of like, as I was saying, somebody has that influential ability on you, and that can talk about actually solid working relationship or friendship or partner or your coworker, something like that, right? And everybody who is like that, if you have, for example, disagreements, and if you say maybe we should go our own way, maybe that's going to actually get resolved. So nothing to worry about it. So you need to be faithful, and you need to accept the loyalty and faithfulness of those who care for you. It's sometimes really hard, and it is hard, especially in these weird times, but you guys really have somebody who is on your side. So just bravely, you need to move forward, and things will work out. Okay, my dear Scorpio. And happy belated birthday to everybody who was in the last week or today. I think in the later hours we are moving into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is always looking for something uplifting, something kind of like new horizons, new barriers, right? So it's kind of like something that we can kind of like set as a long-term goal. And so Sagittarius, because happy birthday to you, and it is 11/11, interestingly enough, over here. Happy birthday. And so let's see what this upcoming week brings for you. And before we do that, I need a sip of my coffee over here. What's up, guys? Nobody's talking? Nobody's interested in Scorpio? Oh, by the way, Scorpio is also ruling this virus. But I didn't read the virus. I read the people in Scorpio. And people in Scorpio are not the virus. And Scorpio rules taxes and death. All of these unavoidable, beautiful things, right? So Sagittarius, you have inversals. You also have a Three of Wands, and then you have this King of Wands reversed. Again, Same thing, you're kind of like venturing away from a friend or from a situation. King of Fire, King of Wands can be very controlling when it's reversed. And no wonder you're saying, you know what, like, I mean, no, thank you. I kind of like have too much of this. I don't think that I really, really want to go further with this. So kind of like not interested. And then you have like the High Priestess over here. So for you, it's going to be kind of like meditative mode. I'm sorry, I have to cough. And that meditative mode is going to be, okay, I'm just going to give you a rope and you can hang yourself. And if you don't hang yourself, then I'm going to be very, very pleasantly surprised, kind of a thing, right? So Kylie is actually telling us, because she already has one day behind her, because she's like in this like really zone in Australia. So she says, been a long day of networking events, not going to stay for all signs, but it's early Saturday morning here. So that's kind of like how it's going to feel. This can actually talk about networking, kind of like in which direction do I go? And then maybe you find that some people are just in a way, and that you will maybe need to go around it. And this is exactly what High Priestess does. High Priestess is kind of like biding her time, and as such, she kind of like sort things out and sort people out in her head, almost like it's the person who will see in the room and people are coming and you see a very, very quiet person who's just not talking, but by the time that everybody comes in, she has their number. They are all either in good bucket or bad bucket, and she just simply knows. And it's kind of funny because she also knows that some people who are really kind of like, I guess, that thick, that they cannot understand that she's seen with her x-ray vision for the soul through them, like that she will really, really easily kind of like set them aside. So let me see what kind of extra message you have here. And there is a Saggy over here. So surgical consultation this week. I'm so anxious. And then we have wife here, and it's with a child over here. So there is like a nurturing or self-nurturing quality. This also could mean, and I'll address you, Kelsey, just in a second. There's nothing going to be with Kelsey here that is worrisome. In fact, you're going to be able to sift through the information, what's good and what's bad. And that's kind of like what is important, because for surgery, you really want to find somebody who will be diligent and maybe even boring, maybe a little bit more detail oriented. I kind of look at the details. And I also look at the details that most people don't look into. So, for example, what kind of secretary they choose, what kind of office they choose, because that gives me kind of like some elements about their personality. So let's talk about this card, wife. When I got this deck initially, I thought this must be the central card, right? But keep in mind, like, I mean, when they did this Vera Sibilla cards one in, like, I mean, 1700, it got really popular in the 1800s, right? So this Donna Sposata, which was like basically married woman, was the key card. But here, I think they're calling her Mowgli, major espouse. So it's kind of like not the same. But this is definitely talking about somebody who is loyal and who is trustworthy and who is caring, supportive. So that would be the Empress kind of thing. And now we have the Empress and the High Priestess. So this actually can talk about a family of a mother and a daughter, for example, where a husband is estranged, or husband is away, or husband is literally on a trip. That can mean something like that. Or husband is very controlling. Not only do we have, like, I mean, Leo here reversal, right? But somebody can really demand all the attention and everything for them, and not seeing that other people also have to do it. So that there's, like, I mean, maybe, let's say, lack of a committed relationship. Hello? Not talking? Hello, you have to say hi? That's it. And you have to move your furry butt so I can see the stuff now. So basically this card is really talking with a child on her lap. It took me a while, and then I started seeing this child as an inner child, as our inner needs. Just like the High Priestess is processing that information that we pick up through intuition from the outside world, wife kind of like is also doing this protectively for herself, but she also has something else to guard. An inner child could be something that it's our foot forward to the other world, Some people could giggle, but they are giggle because they are shy or they're afraid. Kind of like, so it could be mixed signals over here. So I would say over here, this is really reassuring. This is really positive. It can talk about that either you need to have to look in your moral character, or you're going to meet somebody with really, really good moral character, somebody who's trustworthy and somebody who's dependable. Maybe like you're just like reviewing, like, this happened before and now my birthday, new season coming through. Heck, let's leave this a year behind me. Let's leave this as well in this kind of like process, right? So if this is coming to business, this card usually represents someone who is helping with implementation of projects and somebody who will support prosperity and success. So that kind of like, Kelsey, kind of like suggests yours that, I don't know if you went to a woman surgeon or not, but this is simply a generic card, so there's like not much to look into that. So intuitively, what you feel, if this is the right thing, if this is the right move, then like I would move forward with that. So that's kind of like important to grasp over there. Okay, so we are over these 2 birthdays, and hello Sylvia Music, we have Canada in the house. And yes, keep the hands on the wheel. I was driving yesterday to see my dad. And there is something that is called Sky Bridge, which kind of goes up in the air and down. It's usually those bridges that are exposed to wind. When it's windy, they're really dangerous. So it was like pushing me in the other lane. I was like, let's hold on to that, kind of like really, really strongly. So let's see, Kelsey. It's for endometriosis, and I'm very anxious about being able to preserve my fertility. That's maybe why do you had a wife. You see, like, these freaking cards never lie, and you'll be okay. You will preserve. So the next one in the raw is Leo. So let me find, Leo, your card over here. So it's hopefully this working better when I put this tags that you know which side is being read. Put the thing over here. And Leo, what's the week coming up? Bringing up for you. Welcome, Kelsey. Leo. Oops, I only have a whole bunch. I'm going to take 3 over here. Oh my gosh, I have to take this one. Is also, look, I just want to show you what's coming through. Like from this bundle, I usually just take top, and only if they are majors, but like it was one after another major, and then it was like a 10 and major. I guess this is where I stop. So these are all messages in like major, 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 major. So Leo, it's going to be a major event happening for you. This is really, really weird. Like you got the kind of like Wheel of Fortune over here. It's almost like half the wheel that you have in these cards. So this is the Karma card, and this is the Karma card. Something is happening. So everything is starting with a big bang. Everything is starting with the Tower, and the Tower shows up basically on the stage of our life, that we need to learn about devastation. And devastation usually happens because we are not able to move forward along the lines that we kind of like outline in our own head, or that our angels, our higher spirits are just feeling, no, I know that you want, I know you really wish this. This is not where you should be going. We need to stop you right there, right? So the Tower happens. It's like I'm in a big shakedown. It's like absolutely uncomfortable. When this is happening, we're experiencing sadness and fear and trepidation, and things are not going our way. And even like sometimes it's really hard for us to pick ourselves up, right? And this is kind of like shown here. The star is reversed, and kind of like this is exactly what happens after, right? We have a 16 and we have a 17. At least, like, I mean, after the dark comes a day, you can see. But here, it's not really a day, it's a dawn. It's kind of like that shadows on the walls, shadow on the wall that are telling you the stories of better times, of what's going to happen. But you really have nothing to go by other than these are the stories. They might be just the stories. So this kind of like tells me a little bit of pessimism, a little bit of kind of like taken aback. Maybe you're going to go in a quiet mode of some kind of like sort. I mean, we saw you showing up. What was it? What was the Sagittarius reading? There could be some kind of like clash over there, right? And but yet then you have the Wheel of Fortune showing up. It's kind of weird, like almost like that you are aware that your car battery is not working properly, so you kind of like jump started and to go, and then you're feeling all perky and full of energy. It's like, you know, like when you see these old animals and old dogs, and they have heavy arthritis and they're barely walking, and you're feeling sorry for them because you know how hurtful this could be. And then some people give them CBD oil and they just like perk right up, and like, but this is only temporarily because it's simply hiding the pain by killing some receptors in the brain. And that's kind of like what I see here. Like you'll perk yourself up, but then just realize you're still stuck. The reason why you're stuck, and then you have like, I mean, all of those are also high numbers. You have 16, 17, 10, 12, 10, 11. So nothing is like kind of smaller number that you will have some kind of small lesson. This is like this big crescendo. Like, have you ever been like, I mean, to opera? It's like that finale, da da da, kind of like what's happening. But look what is happening. It is really telling you that you are really in a situation that you are an observer. You really need to observe others, but you also need to observe yourself. This is why the hangman, or rather to say hang cat, showed up over here, right? This always talks about possible change of perspective or possible realization. Okay, I really want something badly. It happens, for example, when you really want a relationship with someone and he or she is everything to you in the world, but you're getting indications that it's not happening. This person is either not returning the calls or not doing things they do, and this is how people start to behave when they're kind of exiting out with hope that the other person is going to pick up and leave them first, kind of a thing, right? So it could be one of those situations. So the hangman is kind of like a reversal where you're basically saying, okay, so if you think that I'm too much, if you think I'm the controlling one, because that's what usually also happens, this card also resonates with the Empress, then okay, let it be your way. Let me see how you figure out your own system. Let's see how your system works. And you will really try it, but it's going to be really hard for you. You'll feel really, really overburdened. But just the sense of you trying is giving you that balance, is giving you that equilibrium. So there is justice, and justice is upright. So this whole thing is kind of like done. It's over with. You handle it. Everything is kind of like going well. But, you know, it's all kind of like happening for a reason. Do you guys have the stream? Because I'm kind of like, I'm going to refresh it. I'm going to refresh it because somebody said something was cut off. So, and here I am talking. It's going to show up possibly in the right one. Okay, so hopefully you guys are getting it here. So I was saying you're going to have one thing stacked after another. So you're going to start discouraged, disoriented, and then you're going to get the boost of energy possible. The Monday kind of strolls through and you're figuring out things are happening. You're going to make a difference because like you are Leo, you have these big ideas, right? And this is also card of Jupiter and luck. And that's going to be really, really prominent in December. I'm already kind of like working these planetary influences. But then you're going to realize the way forward is the way of somebody else. Literally kind of like you might feel this is the horrible possible path, but you're going to do it anyway, just for nothing else, to confirm it for yourself and also to tell other people, look, I can do it your way. I still think that my way is better, and this is why, comparison. And there is this balance. But maybe also by doing something for somebody in their way, even in non-productive way, you're realizing something about them. Maybe simply how complicated person they are. Maybe simply how really life really works for them and what are the burdens for them, or simply, you know, you're walking like I'm in their shoes like 1 mile, and that really, really helps. So it's a big reading, Leo, over here. I can't wait to get your monthlies. And that's what we have. We have Journey Backward. So this really tells me it's not so much traveling somewhere, because we are all in lockdown. Toronto is in lockdown from Monday, which means nothing. And it means nothing because everybody's doing whatever the heck they want to do, and nobody's getting fined, and the infections are keeping going up, ramping up, because they just want to keep the economy, and keeping the economy is killing people. But I don't know the difference, except that probably now stores will have more strict regulations on how many people can come in, and hence we'll have longer lineups. And it's absolutely lovely when it's cold outside, I can tell you about it. But maybe this is what this journey means. Oh my gosh, everything is going to be freaking slow. Everything is like coming to some kind of halt, right? So that also can talk about that this relationship is not moving forward. It is like stagnating, right? That, like, I mean, it's not denial of it. It's just kind of like, okay, we need to take a step back, which kind of like we've seen it over here. It can also talk about reluctance to meet new people. It could be reluctance to meet to see new places, or something that is late, that is not arriving. It's going to be one of those weeks that you kind of like will like to be a dynamo at one point, but things are going to somehow work against your own timing and against your schedule, my dear Leo. So let's do it. Well, the malls are nuts right now. I'm not even considering going to the malls. Like, unfortunately, my friends will have to get their Amazon presents, and whatever I manage to source on Amazon, if it shows up on time, I'm not going to die for anybody's present. And if they cannot understand it, well, they're not my real friends. Or give them money, like an auntie or something. So it makes sense. Well, when you don't shop in person, it's not so much fun, right? It's always the case. So the next one is Virgo. All right, Virgo, let's find your slip over here. Virgo. And get your timestamp. So, Virgo. Is this my camera? This is my OCD acting up? Something is. Virgo. You have Five of Cups, and you have like Two of Pentacles. Have the Lovers reversed, and then you have like a Seven of Wands. Let me immediately get the Gypsy card for you to see what's going on. And you get a whole bunch of Gypsy cards. You got Thought, you got Frivolity, you got Sweetheart, and Priest. These three cards are not good. Actually, all four cards are kind of like telling me about the situation that you are unhappy in. There's like something where you feel maybe cornered, where do you feel like I have to take care of everything. When is this one wants to talk? It's a loyalty. You were maybe counting on somebody's loyalty, and maybe they pull the rug on your feet, and you just simply insist. And this kind of like can talk a little bit about internal process, because that's why you have Thought card over here, that you kind of, because you're like ruling the systems and setups and the small things that move things forward. Once I had a boss, and he always would walk into my room, and I had in a board small little tasks that I need to do, because these small tasks would stack up for me to kind of like finish this whole freaking project, and I would just break it down. And he said, oh, you're always just working on these little tasks, and how come about big projects? Well, how do you think these big projects really happen, kind of a thing. So it looks like to me you are doing something like that. You have been getting through some stuff and sorting things out, clearing things out, and in your head you thought this is going to start moving forward, but it hasn't. Some of you are dealing with somebody who has been unfaithful, and this is coming through very, very clearly, or you're going to find out this week. It's going to be some kind of quote-unquote betrayal. It's going to be argument. It's going to be, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I mean, there is like this clearly the card with the backup. I did this for you. You're going to be holding your ground. You're going to be holding your stand. It's kind of really interesting because 5 and 2 is 7, and we have a 7. So the 7s are generally showing up where we really have to figure out where our heart is, what spiritually and what morally is kind of like acceptable for us, right? So, but altogether also add to this 20, to that magic judgment card. And it's pretty much like, looks like it's a theme, and we have the priest over here, that this week, and maybe this is this clearance from Scorpio, because this new moon last week brought us that, hey, you know, this is transformational time, not just crappy time when you scare people, like that initial stage of Scorpio. Is this third one, which is more difficult, more painful, but it has its great rewards, right? But as that also means that we really need to see our life in a stark naked way, no decorations, just kind of like MRI. It is what it is, and this is how we kind of like handle things, right? So you're looking in somebody who is simply not coming through for you, right? You are maybe in a relationship with somebody that you're expecting loyalty, you're expecting this something to take place, to put roots, but instead it's kind of like very light. Somebody who's going from flower to flower, right? If you wish. This is all giving you a headache. It's just like you're saying to yourself, why in the world I need to deal with people like that? I want this and I'm having this. So what's wrong with this picture, kind of a thing? Well, what is really good about it is like you are realizing that either you're not putting your foot down, either you are meeting and attracting wrong people, or either you are kind of like letting things go too far and things shift and change at some point. So you'll be kind of like finding a backbone, especially if you're a woman, and this is kind of like seeing clearly. It could be some messages via text, and going to be really, really firmly kind of like done. So priest, and I was explaining this last time, I don't know if you listen, is not only a clergy dude over here. This is also about, yes, spirituality, morality, and beliefs, but it's also about legal opinions. So it could be that you just have enough of some sort. You are saying, look, I just can't handle things anymore like this. We kind of like need to do better or more. And that can be kind of like a suggestion. Maybe also you have to examine your own conscience first, because you might be coming from that, like, I'm in place of pain, and rather than kind of like what other people are doing, just try to see if this is really somebody pushing your buttons, or this is something that is really happening and cannot be denied, and you'll really know. So it can be a legal opinion of some sort that you will obtain. So you have both thought and priest over here. It could be some separation, and it could be inheritance as well. Just kind of like, how do we split the money over here? Because the difficulties are here coming possibly due to quote unquote the sins. That could be your sins. That could be that somebody pointing finger at you, see how they're pointing the sticks at this kitty, that you are actually the one who is the person, right? This also could be that you're very nervous about your health, because it could be a little bit of depression over here, and maybe you're looking for some kind of like spiritual engagement and trying to see if you can do things through prayer. I believe in that, but I also believe that you should take your meds. So just like do both if this is kind of solution you really want. So Virgo, you know, who is my friend? Who is my enemy? That's what you'll be asking yourself. But the real question is, are you a friend to yourself? Would your higher self continue being in a situation that you are in? And if the answer comes to you no, because you can have this conversation with your higher self, then you need to kind of like find your backbone and find what is the best for you. And like, this is not going to be even gentle. You're going to put your foot down. You're going to say, look, I have experience in this. I have done it many, many times, and this is like what I insist on. So it's going to be rocked boat, kind of like a week where people will kind of disappoint you a little bit. So sorry, Eating Yogi. Sorry. Who is a cat is also Virgo moon. was like not the best news, but at least you can kind of like get prepared for this, and then it's easier when, you know, the proverbial poop hit the fan kind of a thing, right? So let's see who is next. Who is next? And I got two. So let's do one at a time because they both wanted to fight for it. So first one is Pisces. So let's get your timestamp here. Pisces. I got the new Rocket book for Barbie, since she is doing such a great job. So I try to kind of like have this also with colors. So competition is on. She's doing such an awesome job, and we missed you last time, Barbie, just to let you know. But I did send her her angel card, so she got it here. So we have here 9 of Wands coming through. 9 of Wands. And, oops. And this is one more. I think this is it. So we have 9 of Wands, then we have the Sun, then we have another 9 of Swords, then we have Hangman, then we have 2 of Swords. It's kind of like up and down, up and up, up and down. You'll be bouncing off the walls all the time. So let's not read the numbers right now. Let's start reading the kind of like feelings, right? So this is kind of like, look, defense, right? Defensive, injury, and here is like leisurely and kind of like relaxation, kind of like time out kind of a thing. And then again, everything is coming at me from all the sides. In 9 of Swords, I call this card wash machine brain, where we just get stuck in our way of thinking and we just cannot move forward. And then we have the Hangman. And the Hangman is always talking about, okay, just check this different perspective. It can create a paradigm shift. It can change your lives like in a really, really good way. Because what I really find is really interesting, and I don't know if many of you can see, the kitty is actually chasing the little mouse over here. But we also see on the bottom over here lots of cards that always reminds me of Odin, because it was that story about Odin. He was like hung like this off the tree, and on the bottom he was seeing runes, and he said, oh my god, these runes were telling me a message, and I learned how to read runes just by looking at them, right? And that's kind of like what is happening here. The kitty is learning about the mouse, not anymore as a predator, but maybe as a being, maybe as a mother, as somebody who is caring, and that immediately kind of shifts this. Like that's usually, if I had to, let's say, read for some kind of hostage situation, then I would say you have to get personal. You have to let this person know your name, etc. Otherwise, you're just being isolated, and so on and so forth. And then there's like this 2 of Swords. It is reversed, right? And this is like one of these 2 cards with the blindfold on. And this is really difficult. Like she's walking this tightrope. So there is like this kind of like crescent moon happening over here. But she is not aware, and she's not able to pick up on any clues. Everything is like done internally. And it is this belief that either you're going to get through, or they believe that you're going to fall over, that is going to win. Because in the internal processes, the balance is not as simple to do without all of these inputs from the outside world, such as smells and sights and so on and so forth, right? But let's go in a different layer. Different layer is the 9s are usually closing something. 12 is also similar because they used to have the principle of dozens, so that will be equivalent to 9 as well, right? Where 19, 1 and 9 is 10, so this is like 10, which is like 1 energy, and 2 is something that is moving forward. So that's kind of like what I noticed right away. Do you want to go upstairs, or do you want to go downstairs, Pisces? You're like working some kind of predicament that is very difficult for you to decide, and you won't be able to. And that's why like this 2 of Swords is the very last one. You'll try everything. Say, okay, let me do it your way. You'll obsess about it. You'll try to fight for it. At the very least, and I think this is this weekend, possibly Sunday and Monday, that you're going to have a little kind of like stopover either by your your kid or somebody, or you'll have a situation you're going to feel like cheery and kid-like, and that you can relax and kind of like enjoy things and so on and so forth. So let me see the cards, and I think you're getting two cards. You're getting haughtiness, and then you're getting joyfulness. And this joyfulness clearly connects over here. It could be not with one friend, but with two friends. And guess what? And that's the freakiest part of this time around in the lockdown in Toronto. They said specifically if you're single, mind you, nobody ever respects this like stick within your household thing. I live in an apartment building and there are like multiple people renting and visiting each other. I mean, other ordinary, who cares, right? But like, I mean, they're spreading the stuff and everybody's like nervous. But if you're single, they only let you socialize with just some other household. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And like, I mean, I'm usually all for these rules because they can help us. But okay, this is just too much. What's next? You cannot leave the apartment, so that's effectively prison. Like we are 3/4 there already. So guys, this is a little bit of a Leo over here. I don't know if you guys are dealing with a Leo literally in your life, or that you're trying to prance around, or somebody's trying to prance around, because here we have like this beautiful peacock. This card represents numerous things. It can talk about ambition. And are you guys again stuck on this? I'm going to refresh it, and I can see it tells me from time to time that the connection is not the greatest, and I don't know why. Am I still connected to? Let me just see. Let me just see what my connection should be about. 250, I believe. So what is this? speedtest.net or org? Ookla? I'll just do it right now, just to see if maybe there's disturbance on my connection. That I actually took connection. So let's see. Ooh, actually, nope. It could be me. I'm connected to 2 instead of to 5, and I wonder what would happen if I just try to connect to 5 instead. Let me see the other one, because it's upload. That one is more, actually upload is okay. So this one actually should be okay. I'm afraid if I kind of click on something else, it's going to just take everything off. Sorry, Pisces, let me go back to you. So this is something that's going to happen exactly. Am I going too fast, or am I going too slow? Let me double check myself. This is kind of like the hangman kind of like train of thought, right? Okay, I would do it things this way, but let me kind of like do it that way. Kind of like that is very, very important. Kind of like that. Blaming on the rain, like that song is now playing in my head. So when we see this peacock, it's kind of like you're going to have a period where somebody's going to make you feel very good. Maybe somebody's fighting for you, or you're fighting for somebody. It's going to a period of some kind of, let's say, admiration. And it could be more than one suitor that can kind of admire you. It's going to be kind of like a good sense of who you are, good sense of well-being, but it's also going to be understanding that you get overly worked up over certain things, and that you need to kind of like really get through some situation or some choice. Like this Two of Swords generally talks about that tug of between the head and the heart, the things need to be done. And joyfulness is really telling you, look, in the end, all it matters is the present moment, where we are, how we handle it, and how we connect it. So it's almost going to be a spiritual lesson for you this whole week, Pisces, where you're going to go from one stage to another, kind of like dealing with various things. So buckle up, because whenever you think like you're doing well, something is going to shift and shift again. So it's going to be almost like a little lifetime in a week for you. So ultimately, you're going to go into surrender. Guys, I'm going to do whatever you want me. I'm just trying to be receptive. I'm trying to be good. But you're still not going to be reaching the entire conclusion by the end of the week. That still is going to be ongoing for the following week, I really have to say. So is anybody else, guys, having a problem with buffering? If there's more than a cut, I can maybe kind of connect it to my higher thing, because I have... Okay, are we still here? Did I lose you? Did I lose you? Okay, so let me refresh it. So now I'm on a much higher connection. I usually leave this too for anybody else who visits. I'll let them connect to that. So now it should be way better. So, okay. Hopefully this is going to be better. Hopefully. And now I know it's not me. So the next one is Capricorn. That was like waiting here. Waiting here for us. So Capricorn. So over here. Let me write your tag over here. And let's shuffle. And I really hope this improves right now. Capricorn. Oops. I guess I'm going to take it. And there it is, a hang cat for you too. So what do we have? We have Knight of Wands. Then we have Ace of Swords, which is one of the karma cards. You have Temperance, which is the Sagittarius period we are going through, which is kind of like lovely. But then you also have the Empress. It's kind of like dreams of something that things work out, or you're going to pamper yourself and you're going to be dealing with that. Maybe you're dealing with Libra, maybe you're dealing with Taurus, maybe you're dealing with Sagittarius, maybe you're doing air signs, fire signs. Hangman, this is also very much Empress energy. It's kind of like receptive mode, not really rocking the boat, doing things. So I really think it's really interesting. You are in the beginning of some process. There are like some issues and some things that will be moving forward, but you're going to start with a speed that maybe is not the speed that you feel comfortable with, right? So you just want to drive to a grocery store. You don't necessarily need an airplane, a rocket. So a car, bicycle would kind of do, right? Because Knight of Wands is like forceful. It's very, very fast. But then Ace of Swords says, okay, you did it. Maybe you're on the tail end of finishing something that has been kind of like brewing for a while, and now you're just putting this last push. Marathon runner, like in the last kind of like 100 meters, get through this goal, right? So the Ace of Swords to me is the reason why I dedicate this to be a karma card. Is like it always talks about victory. Look at this crown. Look, everything is really happening over here. But what is really also important, it has two blades, it has two sides. That not only are you changing things on the outside, so with that one blade, but when this blade hits back, you're also changing things in your inner life. Maybe you have been rushing into things and now you're realizing, okay, maybe things need to be a little bit more balanced. I need to be more patient, because that's what Temperance talks about, patience. The Empress talks about patience and pampering, right? Temperance also saying, with the right circumstances, things that seem to be not working out, maybe two very different people, can actually really work out. Just put them on a deserted island for a period of time, and eventually they're going to start getting along, even though they hated each other guts initially. Sort of a things, right? Temperance can make things happen. But the Empress is the one who adds the finer notes to it. It's not only, okay, we are coexisting and we kind of like did it, but it's kind of like, let's make it pleasurable. Let's create this wine. Let's create this like nice meal. And do you like the necklace that I'm wearing or that I bought for you? Kind of like that's the whole energy. But this is the next level of making somebody cushy and comfy. Is like, hey, are you okay? Is this pillow good? Kind of like that's where the Hangman can happen as well. It's going to be one of those weeks. I think it's going to be a very pampered week. You're going to kind of slow down a little bit in your think. You're going to go back to the board with some kind of planning. And again, it has this duality. There is like this one of the wands is like bolted to basically the castle, which means there are like certain things that you have learned that you like, and you want to kind of carry that with you. That's kind of like really important. It's kind of like almost like a nice ending. It's a book ending with these wands. But you still want some adventure. You want to see what's out there. You want to kind of like move forward. And this is kind of like returning us back to this Ace of Swords. So you are going to feel in a good state of mind. You're going to be observational. You're going to be almost as if you're an explorer who ends up on a different planet, and everything is like unusual to you. You're like actually not cautious at all that they can eat you, kill you. You know, this Twilight Zone when, man, I forgot the details. but it was one Twilight Zone where these new visitors from the outside brought this book in their language, and everybody thought this is some kind of like amazing thing that we need to know. And then people started to disappear. The next thing you know, it was like freaking cookbook, how to cook a freaking human, right? So it's kind of like one of those things, you're kind of brewing some ideas and kind of figuring out how to go through these ideas, right? So let's see. Whew, you're getting death. But death is basically transformation, and that's also what we are going through. Was it something else that flicked, or it didn't? I think it was. I was right. And you also get some kind of like waiting. Maybe this is it. Like, I mean, you're kind of tired of being stagnant. And that's why you have these bursts of energy that are coming through, but you cannot sustain them. And you cannot sustain them because really your higher self, your spirit guides, your karma right now is telling you really need to work on yourself. You need to really pump yourself. You need to kind of like massage your relationships in life. You have to give in. You have to continuously, you have to kind of like really go to the bottom of understanding the person, and the only way you know that is like if you literally kind of shadow them, if you do everything they tell you, so you're literally realizing how their brain works, and that's kind of like what it sees here. And if you're not subservient but kind of like being there, being helpful, because that means they're going to be the end of something that has been, and it's not going to be continuing anymore because you're waiting for something else. This and this card, it's like freaking identical. It's kind of like looking in the distance, but you're still not jumping in a car. You're still not moving there. And so be it. It's going to be a big week. I mean, 3 majors, 1 karma card. So you guys, you need to buckle up. And even though it's not going to be like, let's say, some huge chapter in the book, one day when you look in that kind of chapter in your book of life, it's going to say, this is when I made this decision, and this is when I created this roadmap, and the rest was history, kind of a thing. You know what they say, journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. That's going to be one of those weeks. So we have 6, 2, 4, 6. Yes, I think Barbie said we are getting to the doors part. So guys, this is you. You can ask. Let's prepare this. Next one who's going to be next. Hello, Isa. Good morning. Nice to see you. I'm going to use Osho Zen, and I'm going to hide this for a second so I can shuffle without you seeing things that are jumping. Okay, guys, ask yourself a question that you want to have answered. It's more or less a long yes or no answer, so that's kind of like important. And I'm going to have left, center, and right doors. Putting the timestamp here. And let's shuffle this. And there are people who are picking things up. And, oops, we have a door number 1 done. We have door number 2. And we have door number 3. Okay, so let me do the big reveal. I actually seen only number 1 because that one also has, I think, 2 cards that kind of like came through with this. Okay, let me go back. So for those of you who picked door number 1, we got 2 cards: clinging to the past and patience. So this is very much very similar. I'm sorry, I need to cough again. It's not bad, it's just scratching me in the back of my throat. So the second diagnosis seems to be also wrong, but hey. So clinging to the past, we see a whole bunch of ideas, but everything is stuck in the head. You cannot move. It just like sounds to me like me and cleaning, because then I decide I'm going to just get rid of half of the stuff that I have here. But when I come to stuff oh, I need this, I need this, and then I just shifted from one point to another. That's kind of like where you get stuck. You need to be brutal with this. I didn't use this in 2 years, off you go. Sorry, book, I know your encyclopedia, but I'll find something like that on the web, right? So clinging to the past also means kind of continuing with the same ways. And this is really interesting, patience. And we see a pregnant woman and going through, I guess, all of these moons for her to deliver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And even though the card is 7, I was wondering, did they put 7? Is this kind of premature birth? It's kind of like something else that kind of crossed my mind, not the obvious. Maybe some of you are pregnant. And pregnant can mean many things, literally pregnant, or it could mean that you're trying to start a new process, new idea, and so on. But then midway, switching it midway would not be possible. This is like saying, I do. And then you start creating this wedding preparations and everybody's happy and you're bawling your eyes out and you're realizing you made a huge error. And now out of pride and out of embarrassment, you don't want to hold it back. But there's like so much going on where everybody else is having their input and you're not able to hear through that chatter, right? It simply, again, advises you that this is not the right time to make a decision. That currently, if you want to move forward in a direction where you want to move forward, it will bring negative results. Well, it's going to bring something positive, but you might not be very happy about it. So almost like your wish might come true, but you are not going to be happy. So keep this in mind. This also tells me there's going to be so much more to be revealed about this question. And for those of you who took door number 2, it's possibilities. So this is the proverbial 2 of Wands. It's like looking from the above, having like kind of like bird-eyed vision and kind of a complete lay of the land over here. So I would say that there is like some preparation happening about this. Like, I mean, the eagle still didn't land over here, but you're saying like it's now or never. Maybe in your head, you're like, really, something really has to happen. It's going to happen in the nick of time. Literally, when you're going to give up on it, that's when it's going to happen. So you cannot think of this, okay, I'm just going to wait for it. No, you're going to say it's not going to happen, and then it happens. And the door number 3, woo, thunderbolt. This is going to be a no. Because, actually, sorry, let me take it back. Let me walk it back. It can also be yes. But if it's yes, it's going to happen, something that is going to shake up the entire foundation of this question is going to be like, really, you need to look into that differently, right? So what this really means, and that's why we have the central figure here kind of going into Zen. So this is the situation. It can be, let's say that you're in a situation where you're dating somebody, but it's mostly sex. It's not happening that you have this peacefulness, that you have the connection. There's like some spiritual kind of like meaning of the minds. So when this really happens, it means you need to understand what is important. You really need to understand that you need to be nourished in this relationship. This is Mars. And it could be that because now we've been through Mars being retrograde and now it's forward again, the more forward it gets, the more angry Mars will get. And this kind of card rules Mars and also has lots of Scorpio in it. So what could go wrong with this? So be very careful. Something will happen here. But whatever happens, especially when it happens something negative, you need to look into that and saying thank you to it, because something is creating circumstances for you to be happy, even though you might want to have things differently done. So this kind of like you really need to buckle up if you picked number 3. And I don't know, somebody did say that they picked something. Kylie, did you pick 3? Yeah, that would be you. So buckle up, buckle up. Pull a card for mods. See, everything is going well organized when Barbie is, mind you, like, I mean, it was so nice last week. I had also great help with Knitting Yogi and Kylie. They really jumped in on the short notice. It was awesome. So first one was Knitting Yogi. You're getting harmony. Isn't this nice for a change? Kind of like to get it. So oops, let me go back. I almost put somebody in. I almost blocked my moderators. What's going on with my mouse? Do I need is my battery done? That's not helping right now. No, I don't want a pin message. I just want to go up here. There we go. Okay. finally. Oh, I don't have it because I guess I stopped it. So I remember Kylie was first, and then you're getting harmony. Then I think Barbie was second, if I remember. You're getting gratitude, and something is feeling balanced, and this is kind of like music to your ears. Look, this one was out. Then I think it was Chris. I think it was Chris. Ooh, Chris. It's going to be so much fun. Joy. But look at all these hearts. Somebody's jumping out of joy. Could be kids, could be you, could be pillow talk, could be, I don't know. It's kind of like fun because you also have the pink and green, and that both expresses love, where the central person here expresses more of a passion with this red. And who else I didn't do? Kylie? Did I do Kylie? No, I don't think so. Here we go. Celebration. Look at this. Saturday Night Live. So it's going to be some really, really big accomplishment over here. So, so that's it. Like, did I miss any of my mods over here, guys? I don't know if I did. I hopefully didn't. But you will let me know. Barbie will let me know if I seen anybody. So there you go. Oh, and there it is, probably for all of us, something that was missing out: tenderness. Let's guys not forget, not only other humans, but the others who depend on us. They really kind of like, they only see us through that filter. So clearly this is for everybody coming through. Okay, so Barbie, that was it. If I miss anybody, raise your hand. So the next one is this one that wanted to come through, and that would be Libra. That was like Barbie's spirit guide going, come on, come out, come out. But Libra, being Libra, kind of like hesitated, so that's why it came second, right? That's what happened. Let me put your time stop, Libra, over here. So, and let's see how this really works. Libra. And let's have a sip of coffee. I got a Safi's coffee mug, but she's nowhere to be found anymore. So Libra, you have Knight of Wands. It's going to be some fun. And then you have the High Priestess, and then you have Knight of Swords. So night and night. So going to be lots of activities. It's almost like I would generally see a reading like that when it's a birthday reading, right? When people have that flurry of activities going on. But almost like there's lots of activity around you, but you're like here in the center, peacefully kind of like waiting, peacefully studying. So you are the one who is simply filtering people coming through, right? Similarly to this Queen of Swords, who kind of like quickly makes decisions, who comes, who stays. Like the Knight of Wands really talks about our destinations in life and goals in life, where this kind of like talks about our determination in life, right? So very similar qualities, but they are not exactly the same. Maybe you're simply gauging in between the two, and which is like not much of a conundrum. Like you really have to kind of like pick either of them would kind of like really work. Like it's almost like feels like that you are trying to move forward and trying to get ahead, but you want to make big strides. These are like not only fast cards, but they make a lot, right? Because look at him. I don't know if he's riding, like I mean, on a planet or something, but here this is his flying, and something is really happening. Sorry, just need to check my phone. I told you about my girlfriend. Oh, nothing. I just like people probably woke up and sending me texts. All good for now. So that's good news. No news is good news. So this is over here. The central card is this High Priestess. And the High Priestess is like coming after Magician. So Magician is teaching that Fool hey, this is what you can do on this planet, and like you have the wisdom, but you can be action, you can make love, right? Or you can kind of like build castles and stuff, right? That's kind of like options given. So just imagine you're this little kid and you're kind of teaching all this stuff, and after that lesson of all this excitement with this first teacher, you come into this kind of like classroom, and this chick is just quiet, just like staring at you. But the longer she stares at you, the more uncomfortable you feel. And you're going like, okay, what's going on? And then all of a sudden our own conscience starts to act up, and we start kind of being busy. You clean your table, you put your phone aside, you kind of like self-correct yourself. And that is the function of High Priestess, right? Because she's kind of like having that kind of like stern and quiet influence on the environment. So what you guys are getting is Lord, and you're also getting Merchant reversed. Well, Merchant reverse is a little bit worrisome, and Merchant reverse will kind of like come to Knight of Wands. The Wands sometimes have great ideas, but they have sometimes half-baked ideas. Like Knights are always half-baked ideas to start with, so they kind of like don't finish the goals. They're kind of like just instrument for this goal to happen, sort of like a slight difference, right? So Merchant kind of like can talk about it in this deck, that Merchant is now watching his ship sail away, or he's waiting for his money to come back so he can load some kind of like new stuff on it. But it's really interesting because it's kind of coupled with Lord, and Lord talks about somebody who is rich, somebody who is well established, right? Somebody who kind of has his or her own stuff together, because this is after all a general reading, right? It can talk about some kind of like protection, because this is like you want to really drive in a sports car, but you forget the to buckle yourself up, the seat belt, and all of a sudden, like now the only way to escape is like to jump out of this fast moving car, but this kind of like things are, you're stuck somewhere, and kind of like can create something that hasn't followed the process, right? So you definitely are looking into people who you admire this particular week, right? So because this could be somebody who is just like more talk and less action, or somebody will tell you possibly, hey, my business is not going well. I have suffered as a result. That could be something like that. It could be that you are also trying to get yourself in shape, and there's like this is energy that is kind of like happening, versus here you're really signing up for something. I actually, the moment when I signed up for my Tai Chi in a park, it was right next here, the temperature flipped. So that's it. I'm not doing it in this temperature and in the winter coat. It's really bizarre doing it. So that's not happening either. So now, this generally, guys, is talking about somebody younger, 20 to 40 years old, who is possibly successful, who is possibly well-meaning, and it's suggesting some kind of happiness for you. So the problem is going to be that you feel you need to make a choice, but you don't have to make a choice, and you have this fear of things are not going to work out. How about instead just simply observe what happens. This is going to be really hard because everything around you is happening with such a speed of light, kind of like pace. So kind of like, guys, you really need to think about it in a different kind of like way. So Libra, maybe some investments are not going to come through properly, but nonetheless you have a backup plan, and there is like somebody else who can guide you, or who can help you. It can be some kind of benefactor, and it could be some kind of like news about possibly some kind of like money coming, but not coming yet. You need to still do something else, so keep that in mind, that that's going to be that kind of a week. So let's do this, and the next one is Cancer. Let's put your tag over here. So Cancer. And I don't know if this kind of like things are helping. Hopefully they do, at least when people click through before Barbie puts her stamps, then they at least know which sign they're on. I probably should do this on the side over there. I'll do that in the future. Cancer. Okay, this is too many cards, and why did I shuffle those first? I don't know. So there is a prison and there is a Lord, and almost like that he was reversed. So for Cancer, somebody who is helping you is not available or doesn't want to help you. This is like something that is coming right out of the gate. Or this could mean somebody's married, that you're dealing with somebody who is married. And now it's getting in a really difficult time because it's kind of like really the hardest thing to fake, that your marriage is just separation or something else when you're in pandemic, or when you're going through a Christmas period. It's really, really hard because that absence speaks very, very loudly about things that are happening. So let's see. Yeah, you're putting on a brave face, but there are like lots of things going on through your head, because look at that. Like, this is just confirming the bottom. We have Nine of Swords, wash machine brain. Why is it wash machine brain? It keeps regurgitating the same stuff over and over. You agree something with somebody and then they don't do that, and then you again repeat, did we not agree? Oh yes we did, but I couldn't because of this and that and that. Give them a second chance. It happens again. Now what are you doing at this stage? Are you calling it quits? Because that's pretty much it. This person is not respecting, is not following boundaries. This is not important to them, something that might be very important to you. Well, sometimes you call it quits, and sometimes this is it. You feel sad that this is kind of like what happened, because prison also can mean marriage in this particular deck, and it's saying, look, he's all enmeshed in his own pain and suffering, instead of looking that, hey, maybe this is a solution, maybe this is the thirst, or maybe this is a message or some sort that he just needs to kind of like look in a different perspective. Same thing here. You get stuck in your way of thinking and how things are and how somebody hurts you, and that's all you are doing. But you're putting on a happy face. 10 of Cups is really talking about it when it reverses, right? And you're not necessarily indicating that something is wrong, but you are a little bit closed down. Like, this is like, erecting the walls, not really allowing things to come through. So 4 of Pentacles is literally, you need to protect yourself from the pain. So you shut everything down, you're going to lockdown. But this lockdown also means you're not also getting all these niceties, right, from the person. So Cancer, this kind of makes sense that you kind of like just retracted, that somebody is not coming through as nice and gentle as you are, and somebody was maybe not telling you the truth, or there's a situation that should have been resolved and it's not resolved, and you're painfully kind of like coming to that understanding that, hey, you know, maybe this is never going to happen. Maybe so and so is just stringing me along, right? And I kind of like really need to look in a different direction, because this Lord came reverse, right? It's just before you came upright, but here it's really talking about somebody who is shameless, a fallen man or a woman, somebody without scruples, somebody who is like in a really poor shape, emotionally or physically, right? Somebody who is just telling you, well, the reason I cannot do it is A, B, C, D, E. They start listing you this. But you're saying, holy smoke, if you just did one small thing, just one small thing a day, everything would be resolved a long time ago, and yet we are in the square one. That's kind of like a thing, right? So this card also warns of that deception and danger that comes from a person who has that undesirable character. So guys, this is going to be on you if you don't address it, and if you don't address it to a point that you can serve yourself. Yes, this means that you'll have to walk away from it, but this is going to be just in your own interest and for your own good. So keep that in mind, my dear Cancer. It's not the best place to be, right? So thank you, Kylie, for being here. Love you, sweetie. Wait, let me get you another one more that I will do later for you. Did you get one more message? And it's commitment. Nose to the grindstone. You need to do something academically, I would say, or kind of like work on some paperwork or some kind of agreements. Okay, so who is next? Next one is Aries. Aries. And Aries is going to start feeling better. Why? Because of this freaking Mars that was suppressing. It was like a walking on torns and you couldn't believe that things were happening and painful, and anything you wanted was not paying off, and it was hard and harder, and so on and so forth, right? Hello, rocking readings. So it is really important that kind of like now you pull all the thorns, they're still hurting, but you say, oh my God, this feels so much better. And it's going to get better and better and better and better as we go on. So let's see what else we get here. What else we get here? Rocking readings, you're the first time here, I guess. I don't recall before, but my mods are probably more aware of that. So we have the moon reversed, and this one wants to come here. There's a Queen of Pentacles, and let's get one more thing. Oops. Okay, I'll just get the top two cards. So we have Knight of Wands, and then we have Page of Pentacles over here. But look, we also have the Star and the Two of Cups. So something is falling in place, guys. If you are an Aries here, and let's say if you're married, something is going to get very spicy. You're going to get into the lovey-dovey mode. You're going to feel hopeful. Things are going to be kind of like really kind of like working very well, right? And the moon means like you're no longer or disoriented. You're no longer wondering for a solution or for a way out. You're no longer lost. Now the daylight is coming, and your subconscious thoughts and fears and apprehension is coming to the surface, but only for you to really know, hey, you know what, it was here all along. Well, at least I know I have to go in this direction. Almost like when somebody tells you, okay, yeah, you have to turn left here. So then you know you're not lost anymore, right? So there is like this hopefulness coming back. And the Queen of Pentacles is sitting strong over here. So this is either, and these are people, it almost could be a family. There's like some kind of like glue that works well, where, you know, woman is placed on some kind of pedestal, or she's taken good care by good food, and the place is cleaned and decorated, right? And so there is like maybe either a husband or a lover or somebody who kind of like has a special interest to be around this person that is kind of like getting involved in the situation as well. And the knave, it also can mean either of something that is now under the loop, something that is kind of like being reconsidered really well, maybe some kind of study, maybe some kind of dedication. To me, pages are very similar to aces, which means that there's like a next stage going, which can be setting stones for something that is long term, something that will really, really happen. So this is really important here to observe, right? So guys, overall, I would say very pleasant week. It's going to feel, yes, you want to jump from and bounce from the, hilltops. It's not going to be like that. You know, people around you be a little bit more grounded, but they will pretty much acknowledge, hey, you know, my Aries is back and things are going on. It's going to feel like a major celebration. You're going to feel that you're connecting with people. You're going to feel that you are understood. And here is like another scholar that will be like this Page of Pentacles, and it's kind of like really weird that this is like kind of like coming through. So for some reason, this must be a really important message for you to get, because what do we see? Guy here studying. He has his bookshelf, so this is about some kind of guidance. This is about some kind of like wisdom. Maybe it's a wise counsel. Maybe you're going to get your cat tarot reading. Over here, it's experience. It's also somebody who is connecting his intuition to his intellect. So it represents sometimes that well-educated person, somebody who you trust, a trusted advisor, but not only for the person's knowledge, but also for their wise counsel. And also, this person is very discreet. So you know, okay, this is going to be tightly packed. It's not going to come out. It's also somebody who's using their strength of reason rather than physical strength. Sort of like, hey, don't kind of like jump over. Don't get ahead of your skis, kind of a thing, right? So this could be a friend who can get to the heart of the matter. So if you're in a crisis in a relationship, or you felt you were getting in some kind of like rut, maybe a wise person will kind of like help you, give you direction, and then you'll be able to restore this harmony, right? Or if at work, you might find some kind of solution on how to move ahead, because that studious nature is really, really coming through. So you guys, in this week, remember, you need to use logic, you need to use reason in order to solve any problem that you have. And with that, you're going to move forward with really, really big strides, and you're going to be very actually happy about it, right? Okay, so let's shuffle this all in. I'm glad to see, Rockin', that you have this set. I find like it's so easy to connect with other species nature. And then, so let's see. I have lots of 1, 2, 3, 4, but I think there are only 3 left. Well, because we did read Scorpio, Sagittarius. So the next one is Taurus. Okay, Taurus. Let's have your stamp. A little bit behind the schedule. I'm trying to keep this one to 1.5 hours, but it is what it is. Sometimes you really want to kind of like drive the point home, which is really important. So Taurus, let's see what we have for you, Taurus. A little bigger shuffle. Taurus. Ooh, 3 of Swords. And a whole bunch of other cards. 7 of Cups. And 5 of Pentacles. And then King of Cups and then 10 of Cups. Boy, this is confusing me right now. Let me grab one of the Gypsy cards to see if that's going to at least pinpoint me. Look at Nini Yogi, she's paying attention. Is he going to pinpoint me in a good direction? And this is cheerfulness reversed, which is like the same thing as this. Taurus, somebody is betraying you. You trusted someone. You really trusted someone. You had high hopes. But this is also telling me that you were building these high hopes. This was House of Cards. This person was not to be trusted in the first place, but you trusted it anyway. You're bouncing back. You are the ultimate survivor kind of like card, right? Your card sign. You're kind of like really getting through, but you are, look, this is like treacherous for this kitty. Like it's a beautiful kitty. What is this? A Persian. She's stuck in the rain, and this is absolutely horrible event in the kitty's life, and this is not going to stop anytime soon, right? So there's like some sense of embarrassment and sense of pain and sense of, oh my gosh, I'm going to die, kind of a little bit fatalistic approach to it, right? And while this is all going through your life, you feel like all of your ambitions and all of your dreams, everything that you kind of had in your head that you were sorting it out, are somehow waning, are somehow kind of like fading away, right, as a result. It's interestingly here that in this card we see this dude with his 2 women kind of like enjoying, and what could go wrong? Like they're either both wooing for his attention over here, so they are basically rivals over here, if you kind of like really wish kind of like to kind of like look at it that way. But this kind of came reversed. It kind of like talks about some kind of like negativity. It could be something that is denied, a job, a relationship, inquiry, a failed exam, maybe it's unsuccessful pregnancy, because your sign relates to Venus also, right? It's almost like when joy disappears and then sadness enters the room. So you are starting this week with possibly some betrayals, somebody who is like taking the happiness and trying to squish it in little pieces and tore it into little kind of like chunks. You kind of like are going to feel really lazy, I really have to say. And that's why here you're saying, okay, I'm going to lick my wounds and I'm off. Almost like it feels like that something mainstream doesn't accept you, that it was something that you thought it would be just normal, and it all of a sudden turned out not normal, which could be based on somebody lying to you of some sort, right? So keep your eyes open, guys, because somebody will be using cunning, and somebody maybe was giving you all these plans and something that you can do, and then all of a sudden you fall flat. Maybe realization somebody has a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife, worse yet, and this is kind of like what comes first, right? It's very important. Or somebody's really disappointing you. But I also have to mention that some of that stuff might be only going through your head, because maybe you have that, what we call it, baggage, that somebody did it to you in the past, and now you are like, just, you're cautious, even like when you jump on a cold stove, you're still cautious, kind of a thing, right? That can talk about that, right? So because all of a sudden here we see relatively positive cards. You're emotionally kind of like coming back in order. You're emotionally kind of putting yourself in, even though it's still kind of like a wavy thing. But look at this, the big cup over here that he has. Maybe you have somebody who is Pisces or somebody who is a water sign in your life. That person is going to give you a big shoulder, and that person is going to really come through for you. So maybe this is something you need to look, that there are others who will accept you, others who will love you as you are. This is not necessarily this, like, bling bling kind of a person, very shiny, kind of like a diamond, but this is the real diamond. Somebody who is there. This is somebody who is willing to be vulnerable, who is willing to connect with you. And at the very least, the person is getting you out of this funk, or maybe somebody is appearing who is sidetracking you from this kind of like bad depression you're spiraling into. At the very least, you didn't fully recover, but you're kind of saying, okay, you know what, I'll fake it until I make it, and then hopefully it's just going to go away. So it's kind of like a really positive way of getting out of the situation. But I didn't lie to you guys. It might be a difficult and tricky week for you. So hopefully this also can indicate operation now when I'm thinking about it, of some sort. So, and maybe of course after the operation you're not going to feel like all perky, which kind of goes without saying. And the next one is Gemini, and of course Aquarians are going to go last. Let me put a stamp here. Gemini, let's see. Guys, did you give me your thumbs up? I'm seeing, like, again, nothing, nobody's here. I'm not seeing any conversations. I'm wondering, like, did you all guys left me, or is it like my streaming? Let me just try to refresh it on my end. Hopefully this starts to make it work. Gemini. No, you're all here. It is just like that I'm absent. So, okay, Gemini. Ooh, you have 2 of Cups. Ooh, I need your thing here as well. A thumbs up. Nice. Thank you, guys. That's how YouTube kind of looks. That's kind of that engagement, and how many messages we send, and how many in order to them to advertise. It's kind of like you need to quote unquote earn their trust. And keep in mind that I always consider Google the devil. Kind of like it's some omnipotent being that can really pull the rug under your feet. It's not pretending to be good for you, but it's technically doing stuff. So take it with a grain of salt. So it's going to be a very light week, my dear Gemini. You have 2 of Cups. Somebody's coming back to you. There is like somebody who maybe didn't want to commit, now want to commit. This could be you. That there is going to be a conversation about commitment and how to make things work. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who travels a lot, or who has to be absent, or who is maybe a long-term, long-distance relationship of some sort. But it's still going to be meeting of the minds. It's almost like going to be a build-up. It's going to be absolutely fantastic full moon for you. It's going to be full moon in Taurus. It's going to be reserved night for love and for telling sweet nothings. You're going to feel very fulfilled. And also this is going to add a little bit of practicality in this interaction, because you're going to have this 8 of Pentacles, and 8 of Pentacles talks about putting the final touches. Something is going in a really good a good direction. Fixing lunch for a client. Wow, that's nice. What is for lunch, Barbie? Oh, something that flicked here. And we have death, and we have a letter. I really think this death is connecting to this Eight of Cups, because Eight of Cups upright is talking about leaving, right? And this could be that somebody, that was a breakup, or there was like a feeling that something is not going on. And usually you get to those situations when relationships get serious. Then you kind of like really ask yourself, will I continue with this further, or will I not continue with this further, right? And etc. etc. So yeah, it looks like your Gemini might return over here. It could be some kind of text message. It could be some kind of email that is being sent. At this stage, it's going to be more pragmatic. It's going to make more sense because something ended and it had to end because of something else needed to revolve. So now there is like this clean slate for things to evolve normally in their own time. So that Gemini, you're going to have really easy, breezy, pleasant week with lots of nice things happening over here. And I think, do I have only one? No, I have two. And which one probably would be Scorpio? Let's see. Of course, I'm going to grab Scorpio. That was the first thread. Scorpio, if you're just listening now, go to 6-minute mark. That's where you are. And then this one must be Aquarius. We are last. You know, Germans say Zucker comes to last, sugar comes last, meaning you serve dessert at the end of the meal, but this is important in order for us to kind of feel completion. So let's see, Aquarius. And then of course we'll have another set of doors, so don't leave yet, guys. So let's see, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, gravy, and glazed carrots. Nice. I have actually cooked cabbage rolls last week, and I was really surprised to see that Mr. Tiger really enjoyed that. I was like, ooh, nobody really likes cabbage rolls around me. It's like all Eastern European food. This dude, oh my gosh, he just lines up whenever I'm having food for me, and he just wants his share. So this sounds similar, except the cabbage. Lynn, I shared, and I have commented. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. So Aquarius, there is like a 10 of Wands. There's some secrets. There's some kind of burdens. There's something that is really getting to us. Something is like, ugh, put a fork in me. I'm done. I cannot deal with this. I just like find that sometimes 10 of Wands means that we are carrying on the burden. We are taking on too much. Like, I mean, generally this is the card that says, hey, you know, how about you? And there it is. Like, we are getting another wand. It's Knight of Wands here that is kind of like happening over here. Knight of Wands is like that action. Come on, jump in. Force yourself to do certain things. Get active. It could be kind of like exercise of some sort, right? It's going to be a lots of kind of like solo activities this week for Aquarians. It's kind of like coming to some kind of like firm ground. Like usually to me, this is a card of a reset, 9 of Pentacles. So what do I mean by that? It means, you know, like when you have this restoration point on Windows, when you kind of save wherever you are with a computer. So in the later day, if you mess something up, you can go back and just pull everything that was then and everything kind of like starts working again. So this is to me this reset point. Kind of like when you kind of realize back then I had everything okay, things have been working well for me, I knew how to do things done, I kind of had this complete mastery. And it's almost like that we pull that lesson out when we need to. It's kind of like remind yourself, Aquarian, what we did when we were successful. And we need to apply those principles because we kind of like got ourselves bogged down and burdened down with unnecessary crap. Maybe we're carrying other people's weight. We are maybe doing things for other people where we need to help ourselves. And this is basically what it's suggesting to us. You see this orange kitty? Now jumped in the back of this kitty and say, off we go. We are going in new adventure. There's like something new happening. In addition, all these cards add to 19, and 19 is the sun card, and we also have this big sun centrally here sitting in this reading, and the sun is about transparency. Sun is about healing. Sun is about the new stage and something positive. It can involve children. It can involve males. It's very important when we have this flavor to understand that even though we are moving so happily ahead, that we are very clear on some kind of wall. So people who are not supposed to be around us. It's not kind of like free for all. It's not come over. It is like you, and you, and you are coming here. So this is kind of like sifting through our own personal garbage and all kind of like personal understanding of how things work. So we are finding an inner circle over here for us. And here is this card that showed up, and it is Lover. Maybe this is the Lover coming through, and this Lover could be a fire sign. This Lover could be an earth sign over here, but it's like somebody who is going to give us something that is going to woo us, and it's going to be really interesting because I usually, and when I do my X spread or when I do my relationship spread, I connect this card with relationships, with kind of like that wooing portion of relationship where we kind of like are still trying to put our best face and so on and so forth, right? Later in the relationship, you find somebody's messy hair attractive, right? But initially you're just trying to be at your best. So my gosh, something is going well, but this is simply demanding that Aquarians kind of like treat themselves as important as everybody else versus putting everybody else ahead, and that is going to be very important over here, right? So even though we finished all the signs, we still have, and I'm surprised that Barbie didn't do it. I guess this meatloaf is too interesting. Didn't announce that we're going to have one more round of doors. So guys, ask yourself another question. I'm going to hide the stage over here. I've been playing in the wrong cat box and it's time to go. Cute. Okay, so I'm closing this up, and you guys think of the question again. Not the same one. It would make sense. It would not make sense. Honestly, I did it to myself when I was a young reader, and even sometimes when I'm so eager to know the answer, well, let's do it again. And then, like cards are going, what the hell do you want me to do? I just like made you lunch and everything, like stop it. And then all of a sudden start giving different answers, and then you cannot trust yourself, and then universe is making you earn your ability to read. So that's why I don't do it, because then you're going to get creepy answers. So it has to be something else. Okay, the door number 1 is out. The door number 2 is out. And the door number 3 is out. Okay, so let's reveal over here, go back, and put this timestamp for my dear Barbie. All right, so if you guys thought of door number 1, welcome, Isa. But let's see what happens. We get suppression. Look at that. Look at him. He's trying to escape through this narrow window of opportunity. This will be this proverbial 10 of fires that we just not have it in Aquarius reading, where it's too much of a burden. Like he's putting this, like, his roots down. There's like this ropes kind of carrying him on. But literally he needs to look up. He needs to not to be bogged down in a situation in order to look for the solution. A solution will show up. This did come reversed, which means the solution is going to become self-evident in the situation. It's going to be hard to start implementing it because it's still going to be residual pain of something, but trust me, things are actually going in a good direction for you, not in a way that you want to, because you're looking in this direction. You're looking for a solution this way, but the solution is elsewhere. So this is going to be a positive situation, but it's not meaning necessarily yes answer to your question. So door number 2, we have inner voice, and it is reversed. So this is that high priestess, but when she's reversed, she's not listening to the guidance. She's not hearing what she needs to hear. So she has this kingdom where she used to let only people who are well versed in spirituality, who are kind people. But now her batteries ran out, and she's letting this frivolous people who are poisoning this whole freaking pot for everybody. And this is kind of like what happens, that you will think that, like, there's like some diamond from somebody who is not, and you're going to be completely blindsided with that. So the answer could be yes, but you are completely on the wrong path with this. You would be better off to hold back, and you will be better off to get to this point where you really get your intuition. Not, oh, well, no, he or she is just great on the paper. This kind of looks good. This can kind of be workable. But there's like still that little gnawing feeling about it. That's what you're ignoring because it makes no sense. Your head is telling you. That's little kind of instinct is what you really should stop neglecting. And then we have patience. This will happen, the door number 3. Again, it can revolve slowly. It's going to get different forms, and it's going to be something possibly very pleasurable, but this is more like something like a long-term process. Okay, so I'm going to get the cards for the mods, for my loyal mods that are always here, always helping. I love you because we are keeping this board clean, and this is like so freaking amazing. I'm sometimes here and there going to other people's chats. It's like a freaking nightmare. So I just can't believe how nice this is happening here. So let's go. Knitting Yogi, you got 2. You got freedom and wisdom. And wisdom is like this dude with the lantern, right? So this is like just like your sign hermit, which is interesting. But look at freedom. He's kind of like bare ass. He put his little kind of like a tutu out, and he's kind of like feeling free to do certain things. So no more constraints of some sort over here. Okay, so let's put it back just in case that the same ones are coming through. So the Barbies is next. Barbie, you're getting forgiveness. Are you forgiving something to somebody, or somebody's forgiving to you? You just like simply feel like some kind of like release of some sort, some kind of like intensity kind of like needs to go away. Then it was Kylie or Chris, I think it was Chris, and Kylie already got hers. Ooh, CBO Music showed up, so you're going to get yours. So Chris is abundance. Man, you have like pretty cool stuff coming in today. Like, what is like with this earth signs? Look at this. It's like not raining, it's pouring. Like, I don't know, are you doing some kind of business? You should be doing this business. This is really going to feel good over here. And CBO Music for you. And it's harmony. It's going to feel like, I mean, things are working well, the way they should. Just like pace yourself, stop to smell the roses, and express the feelings and good feelings from people when you have an opportunity, because you never know when it's going to be the next time. So this is us this week, and I think it was fun. We managed this. I guess it's going to be Thanksgiving, right, in the US the next week. So I don't know, does it mean that I need to skip it or that I need to make it? What do you guys think? Are you guys showing up? I'm going to be inclined to show up, or you're going to be inclined to, oh, I'm just sleeping in and doing nothing. I don't know. I'm inclined to do it, but I'm just waiting to see what you guys are going to say. Nothing. Barbie saying, off we go. We are done. We are done. Nobody's telling me about the next week, so I guess we're just going with the schedule. We'll make it. Okay, there we go. Off we go, guys. You have a beautiful, beautiful week. Let me find another music to kind of like get us through it. And which music do I find here? Ambient. It's only 38 seconds. Okay, let's go with this one. I don't think I be here or be square. I don't know what this music is, but let's give it a try. So thank you guys for being here. Enjoy your week coming up, and I will see you next Saturday. Love you and love you and love you. wonderful, beautiful.